this matchup. Sanan Sjugirov with the white pieces against Magnus Carlsen. Magnus really wants to get a victory because he'll join Artemiev with 7 out of 8.
Yes, exactly. And look at this. Sjugirov's up on the clock. He has the A file. The rook is ready to invade. Rook b8 is criticized by the computer. Also, bishop f4 could be a move targeting that rook with the tempo. Eventually, white's rook is entering. Magnus in some difficulty here.
I think Magnus wants to play c5, which is why he put his rook on b8, but your point is well taken. Bishop f4 kicks the rook off of the b file, and if black has to play b4 at some point, you've given all the light squares, and the white king would like to make a mad dash to the c4 square.
Exactly. Yeah, if black pushes b4, he has to make sure that he will be also able to push c5, c4 before white gets something like this in. That would be terrible. But now I do feel, yeah, g5 tempo, and then, okay, the g5 pawn will have to be guarded before black pushes c5, c4, but it's just a matter of time.
Long-term weaknesses for black, because even if c5 is defended for now, it's on a dark square. He plays c4, he gives up the g5 pawn, so that can be captured at some moment, but be careful. Black is actually trying to threaten a pass pawn of his own. I think white now needs to sit and think, because you can go wrong.
Yes, absolutely, and the justification is that if black would have spent time to defend the pawn on g5, then white could now simply take, and use that extra tempo of bringing the king to d3. Everything would be beautifully protected. Black would have all the weaknesses, so Magnus understands this very well, that he has to create counterplay on the queen side as quickly as possible.
He caught Sjugirov off guard, he paused, took on c4, and then went rook a2. I have to say, I love that decision, because the status quo favors white. You have the healthier pawn structure. Black's pawns are scattered, b4 and d4, isolated pawns. Great backup there from Sanan Sjugirov.
Yes, and the game is very easy. He has a clear vision what to do. That's also very important. He has the upper hand on the clock as well. So a combination of good possession and the very difficult one for Magnus to defend, plus also time advantage for Sjugirov.
Sjugirov is Magnusing Magnus. I mean, this is really a classy game thus far from the white pieces. And the king goes to d3, d4 is under attack, b4 is a target. The rook on a2 will be free to move. White has everything under control. Now it's a matter of, can Magnus withstand the pressure?
Yes, and the problem is that b3 is met by rook b2, pinning that rook, so Magnus is not able to get rid of that weakness.
But he just made the f6. I saw that on the camera feed. And if the king takes on d4, there is rook d8 check ideas with bishop c5 to follow. So you have to be careful in some of these positions from the white side. Also, after king d4, b3 does become available because there's a rook check on d8. So if you want to liquidate, that might be an option.
Yeah, I feel that I don't want to touch that d4 pawn. On the other hand, okay, what do we do? The rook has to kind of stay on a2 if you want to stop b3. f4 played.
Yeah, f4, g takes f4. And now all of black's pawns are isolated. So I like that decision from Sjugirov. Even if the engine criticizes it a little bit, I think it was a smart try from Sjugirov.
It's an interesting try in any case. But why is the system not updating?
No, it's just what's going to happen. The relay from the live sites, unfortunately, is not always up to speed, but we see that b3 has been played. So the pawn d4 was stolen, Peter, but we don't have much material remaining.
Yes, and rook b2 is now met by rook b4 check, intermezzo, very important. And if Magnus is able to trade those pawns, then he should hold this.
It looks like rook b2 was met by rook d7 check, so either way he got out of the pin, and then he traded on c2.
Yes. Yeah, and okay, rook takes c2, king f7, and this should be holdable.
Yeah, the pawn can go up to g4, you can just try to trade rooks at some point on c7, but I can see on the body language, Magnus, he doesn't look like he's the least bit disturbed or bothered by white's position.
Yes, he knows exactly that he was in so much more trouble than this. At the same time, probably Sjugirov is anyway very happy. Magnus even goes for the rook trade. The bishop endgame also looks like a draw.
that was a funny time for the chat to flash that Magnus will win when he has no winning chances whatsoever. But here we see that it's king, bishop, and 3 versus king, bishop, and 2. And yeah, Magnus does draw these for breakfast and hopefully for dinner because it's late in Uzbekistan.
Yeah, bishop e1, hitting the pawn on h4. Of course, white pushes the pawn. Yeah, the moves are coming in way too quickly. The point is we are not really missing out on any action. The moves are quite standard, going back and forth. There is no breakthrough.
Nope, because the only way to try to break through is to trade off more pawns. And if all the pawns are gone, and even if white's up a bishop, a draw is agreed, the handshake was there. So Sjugirov, he proved that he on these top boards, he wasn't worse for even a second against Magnus Carlsen. But Magnus, even when it looked uncomfortable,